Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Friday the 28th of February, and in this educational video there is no advice or recommendation whatsoever. We'll again today start with Nvidia the day after the earnings was yesterday, and it started out well, opening higher, but sellers took control right at the get-go and just sold out throughout the session, closing around 7% lower and pushing it back below the 129.5, below the 200 moving average. RSI was here rejected last week at the 60 threshold, so still negative sentiment, and it closed back below 40 threshold, indicating the negative sentiment and bearish trend is to continue. And there's now support here at 113.25, where it could dip to. Whether we'll do it today or into next week is of course up in the air, but we are in a bearish mood, and you can also see after it broke out of this rising wedge-like pattern here, it couldn't really, it got back in but knocked back down here again. So there is seems to be more trouble ahead for the Nvidia share price. It really needs to get back above 140 to really change that picture. The overall index S&P 500 also got beaten yesterday and closed well below 5,905 support, and the next one is 5,783. It will probably maybe try to get back a little bit today, but we are in a bearish trend, negative sentiment, and there's actually potential down to around the 5,600, 5,700, 5,675 area, where we also have the 200 moving average coming up. So let's see if it will stop around this support here or it will continue lower. And Nasdaq 100 massive sell-off, went straight through at the second try at the 20,974 to 20,583, and let's see, did it close just above it yesterday. So maybe a little bit of bounce, but here pre-market we are dancing around that level. If it takes it out, well, then we are looking at levels around 20,000 and the 200 moving average. We can argue that there is some support here at let's see, where are we? There we are. 19,880, we could see a push to that, but the strong one is down here, 19,622. Not saying that we will get down there, but we are in a bearish trend, negative sentiment. The Dow Jones index closed below the 43,373 support. Still here in a cloud, but we are in negative sentiment on the RSI, and the next support is this gap area here. As we can see, we saw this gap area, and that should be observed here down to the 42,927, and the gap itself 42,518. A close of that will be very negative for Dow Jones. European market also got knocked lower yesterday after this. The day before we had a very strong bullish trend. Now back below the rising trend line here. I think we could see here we are about 0.25% down just pre-market. I think we could see a push down to 5,386 and maybe down to 5,356 here and next couple of days. We maybe are ripe for a correction. However, if it takes out at the peak there at 5,544, we'll see a move above 5,600, but now it seems like correction is kicking in. Also DAX still bullish though, still bullish, hasn't closed this gap area here down to 22,148. If it does, well then we're looking at 21,800, but for now it stopped at the 22,410 minor support. We're still in a bullish trend, a little bit stretched, and here pre-market we are indicating a little bit lower, but let's see throughout the day if some buyers coming back in. If it takes out the peak from yesterday, then I think we'll see a new all-time high above 23,000. Euro dollar is just below 104 supports. and the 55 moving average. We have a little bit of support here at the moment. If it slides back below the cloud here, then I think we'll see a move below 103 and lower. It couldn't get above the 105.35 and above the 100 moving average, so I think we'll see a downtrend resuming. Sterling dollar also struggling to really get up to the 127.80 and 120.80 level. Got knocked back down here from the 127, and I think it will also slide lower here in the coming days and weeks. We can see the 100 moving average is dragging it down there. A push down to the 55 moving average is in the cards, but key support at 123.60. Euro sterling went through the and stayed below yesterday at the 82.60 support level, trying to get back up, but we are in this bearish trend: lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. So it is quite heavy and could continue to 82.25. Bouncing dollar yen, we have been talking about for the past few days that it was warming up for that, and now it seems to have started a little bit yesterday, following through now today. And as we can see here, 150.95 is the first one, but there is potential up to 152.40 at the 61.8 retracement of this downtrend here. So it's a key support level here at 148.56. Euro yen, well, also bouncing after spiking lower this morning in Asian trading session. And also I think we'll see a correction higher, and we can have an idea how high it can move. Well, first one is 157.24, possibly up to 158.75, which is the 61.8 retracement. Aussie yen also spiked lower, below 93 yesterday. So it actually spiked a little bit lower than expected, but I think now we'll see a correction. And let's just also add a Fibonacci to that one, and you can do that yourself. I think we could see a push up to the 94.5 level, which is the 38.2, at least up to that, maybe even up to 95.57. Sterling yen also bouncing this morning, and let's remove this one so we can actually see what's going on. The sterling yen also bouncing after spiking below minor support at 188.14. We are almost already at the 38.2. I think we'll see a push up to 191 at the 61.8 retracement. If it takes out the lows today, from today's low, then we'll see a push below 187 and possibly down to 186. Aussie dollar, we kind of warned about it a few days ago, where we talked about it, that the 100 moving average knocked it back down and also rejected at the upper part of the cloud. And now we are back below 62.30. I think we'll see a move lower on the Aussie dollar to 61.30 support area. It is not the strongest support. We are in a bearish trend, and there is a potential lower now here for Aussie dollar. It will probably try to get back above here, but even if it does, we have resumed bearish trend on Aussie dollar. Dollar Canada pushed higher in early session, in late session yesterday, pushing higher back above the cloud, and I think we'll now see a push up to the 61.8 retracement at 145.48, possibly higher. Positive sentiment on the RSI now back above 60 threshold, indicating likely higher levels, maybe even up to 146.5. It will not be without struggle, of course, but it looks fairly strong. Sterling Canada, maybe time for a little bit of a pause. Let's adjust this a little bit. There is a correction potential, and with the volatility in this Sterling Canada cross, well, we could see it drop down to 180 before next upwards move. It is in the cards. Whether it will materialize is of course hard to say, but the RSI is above 60. There's no divergence indicating we could see higher levels, but I would expect a correction down to Euro-Swiss tested the key support here at 93.30 yesterday. No, sorry, this morning. It was this early session bouncing, but I think we could have another go. We can see how 200 moving average declining, 55 is turning around, 100 is virtually flat, slightly declining. I think we'll see a push lower maybe next week or so. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we are looking at levels in this region down here around 92.75, 92 and a half. Dollar Swiss bounced from the 100 moving average, the support at 89.15, and let's remove this one, and could bounce up to the 90 and a half, 90.55 resistance and the 55 moving average, and then I think we'll see maybe a setback again. Still negative sentiment on the other side. We are in a bear trend, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on. So let's see, maybe we could slide lower again. But if it moves back above a 90.55, then it could establish a bullish trend. And the dollar index that actually was trading below the support here at 106.42 has bounced also strongly, and I think we could see a push up to at least the 55 moving average here at 107.77, but it needs to get back above 108.42 to reverse this bearish trend and establish a new one. Correction mode in golds dropped below the rising trend line, very close to testing the 28.54 support. I think it will move below it. Will it actually move further below? It is not unlikely we'll see a sell-off down to 28.14, to be honest, which is the 38.2 retracement of this entire strong uptrend we have seen since mid-December. So correction is in the card, and it could be fierce and short and swift, and then a bounce. There was divergence on the RSI indicating that that the uptrend was stretched, and you can also see MACD. I don't talk about it much and I don't show it much, but it is a very good indication. It has turned around, it's turned bearish. So let's see what happens here at 28.54. I think it will dip lower. It's not the strongest support, so but nevertheless it is a support. Silver was more or less front running gold, and now it is below support here at 31.25, and I think could see a push lower to around 30.5, where we have the 100 moving at it's the 200 moving average, and the cloud giving some support. RSI is still above 40 threshold, but let's see how long that will last. I think we'll see a sell-off down to around this level, and then possibly a bounce. Copper, extremely volatile also after being knocked down here the other day, after this very strong move, then knocked back down, and then extremely volatile yesterday, and now it seems like sellers are back in control. If it pushes it back, copper back below the 449.75, well, then we could see it dropping further to the 443.30, which is the 61.8 retracement. That is quite likely we will move to there, maybe even all the way down to the 786 retracement at 432.30. To resume uptrend, it needs to take out the spike up there at 475 at that peak up there, then we will resume uptrend. Energy market and crude oil here, WTI bounced from this minor support here at 68.42 and seemed to be stronger than anticipated. We are still in a bearish trend. I think we could push lower if it takes out 68.42. Then we are looking at 66.70 area, where there's some support on the Brent crude oil. Well, just above its support at 72, but we're still in a bearish trend, negative sentiment, and I think we will see a test of 72 fairly shortly. If it takes it out, then we're looking at levels around 71, 70 level. Dutch gas did form yesterday, a little bit of surprise, a bullish engulfing, taking out the yesterday's bearish, not yesterday's, that must be Wednesday's bearish move, and totally engulfing it. A very strong move. I think we'll see European gas up to 38.2, retracement at 48.15. Could push higher if it takes it out. Well, then we are looking at levels around 50 euros again. However, still negative sentiment on the other side, but you should not neglect this bullish engulfing bottom and reversal pattern. Henry Hub gas hovering around the 390 seems to be a very important level, spiking a little bit below. But if it really gets its mojo, and sellers could push it down to 355. Not quite sure about that because we still have positive sentiment, no divergence. I think eventually we will get uptrend to resume with a push up to 450. US 10-year Treasury yield hovering around the 200 moving average here, around 4.25. Support at 415, 410, around these levels here. We are in a negative sentiment. We are in a bearish move short term. If it starts moving back above 430, 435, well, then uptrend could resume. And the 2-year, well, also dipping lower yesterday, opening a little bit higher today. There's support here around 403, 405, where it could dip down to. If it starts moving back above 415 and back above 420, then maybe uptrend could resume, but there's some strong resistance with all these moving averages here. We have the 55, we have the 21, and we have the 200 coming down. So there is kind of putting a lid on also the cloud area. On the European yields, we can see here that the Euro 10-year yield dropped further yesterday, and also this morning. We are back below 240, support here 234 and 232, really strong support in this area here that should be observed. If we get down there, I think we'll see a bounce from that. And the 10-year, the UK 10-year also opening a little bit lower this morning here, 440. There's some fairly strong support in this area, 440 or 438. Crypto and Bitcoin lower this early morning, actually trading lower throughout the early session and continue lower. We talked about yesterday, we could see it drop down to 77,700, maybe even all the way down to around 73,300 level, where we have some support. Really massive sell-off. I think we will find some solid ground in this area here, and then we will see a bounce. Ethereum really heavy also. Now back to these lows over here, back from August, September last year, and then I think we'll see a bounce, but that we could dip a little bit lower. I think we need to zoom out really well before we can see, but we can see there's some strong support around the 2100, but it is in a free fall at the moment. A spectacular sell-off, really. So don't catch a falling knife. Let's see where it could end. Could even end all the way down to 1900. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get to there.